Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the new Nars Hot Tryst cheek palette. So many of you guys asked me to do a full in-depth review on this guy, so that is what we are here for today. Really quick, if you guys are new, hello, my name is Jenna. It is so nice to meet you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I talk about high-end and luxury makeup on this channel. That is solely what I talk about because that is what I'm obsessed with. So if you're like me, you like high-end makeup, you want to know some in-depth reviews and just sharing on all the fun, like hauls and things like that, then I would love for you to consider subscribing to my channel as well. And without further ado, let's get on to my thoughts on this Nars Hot Tryst cheek palette. First of all, let's talk about the outer packaging. The outer packaging of this is so edgy. I am loving it. It is super cool. Definitely something very different from Nars. When you open it up, you will see these 6 pans of powders as well. We have 2 highlights and we have 4 blushes. One thing that I really love about this palette too is how cohesive it is. We have the outer packaging with the beautiful geometric kind of edgy style, and it does follow into the inside powders as well because each powder, as you can see, is pressed and embossed with that same geometric shape. This Nars cheek palette is available right now at narscosmetics.com. It's also available at Sephora right now, and it does retail for $59 American dollars or 74 Canadian dollars. When I was playing around with the blushes today, I did use the raspberry shade right here. It has more of a gold shimmer to it. It is super beautiful. I do love as well that it's a deeper shade because you guys asked me specifically to try out some of the deeper shades just to see how they would look on my skin. So I tried the raspberry shade, and as you can see from me applying it, I got a little bit of pigment right up front. I was a little bit startled. I love that this palette is beginner friendly because when I put too much pigment on my brush, I did find that I was able to blend it out seamlessly. It was so beautiful. It made it look much more natural, and I didn't have to worry about it looking like clown makeup. I do find that the formula in the Tryst palette for blushes is different than the Wanted 2 palette. This is a cheek palette as well. I do feel like the blushes in the Tryst palette feel a bit more firmer. They're a bit denser, but that doesn't mean that they lack in pigment. They're just a little bit of a different formula. Like, they're definitely more luminous on the skin. They have more of that sheen to it. The difference in this palette is that these blushes are matte, so they're going to have a matte finish. They also feel softer than the Tryst palette, and it's just because it's a different formula. This one is, well, very blendable, very pigmented and that kind of thing, but I do find you get more of a pigment punch with this one a little bit quicker than you do with the Tryst palette, and the Tryst palette is much more luminous and sheeny. That's why you have more of like a sheen look versus a heavy pigment look, if that makes sense. There's still pigment, but it's sheeny. Out of all of the shades in here, you do have to build up the 2 in the center the most just because they're a little bit more light. And that's just because the sheeniness is very consistent among all of the blushes, but because these are lighter colors, you're gonna be a little bit more sheen than the other ones. So if you're not liking that, then that might be a deal breaker, but I don't mind building them up a little bit because I do like the healthy look that they give to the skin, so I don't mind that extra effort. But I do think that this palette, you guys, very, very beautiful. It's like luminous blushes. They just make you feel like glowy skin, which I really, really love. And I personally love the natural, like skin-like looks. Like, you know, they don't feel like any makeup on the skin. They just blend in seamlessly and they have that glow factor to them. So I really do love this. As for the highlights in this palette, I do think that the theme of the luminous, sheeny, like beautiful look is consistent to the highlights as well. The first highlight is a silvery kind of white. It has a little bit of a purple undertone, but it's done very beautifully. And then we have this one, which is a gold, like light bronze highlight as well. I do think that both of these highlights are like subtle at first, and then you can build them up. So they do have that sheeny glow from within kind of look. They're not going to be, again, pigment heavy right away, but they are going to look stunning if you amp them up with a wet brush in particular. That is amazing, but if you want to wear them dry, you just have to add a couple layers. And for the desired look that I have today, I have both of them mixed together, and I did do about 2 layers of each. So I didn't mind that. It's not like a deal breaker for me, but if you want a highlight that's just like, you know, one stroke and it's just boom right there, this won't be it. But I do think that it cohesively lines up with this palette because these blushes are so luminous and like glowy, and then we have these highlights that do the same. They're very subtle, and then you can build them up to your desired intensity. They're really, really stunning. Of course, comparing them to the Nars permanent line highlights, the one that I have here is Fort de France. This is a single pan, and this one is a different formula, I believe. This one feels a little bit softer to the touch. The difference between them is subtle, but this one you'll see the pigment a little bit quicker, and both of them melt into the skin well. Again, the permanent line, this is one of my favorite highlights of all time. I love the look it gives. It just melts into the skin, no texture emphasized. Consistent with all of the Nars highlights that I've tried, these as well do not emphasize texture. You can blend them out really well, and the shimmer is done really, really tastefully. There's no glitter particles. It's just that beautiful gleam to the skin. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on this beautiful Tryst cheek palette for the holidays. Let me know down below, is this a palette that you have your eye on? Are you interested in getting it? If you guys like this video, don't forget to let me know as well by giving it a big thumbs up, as well as don't forget to subscribe on your way out. I would love to see you guys back here. And until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.